Hello, lovely people. It's Victoria. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. So, I feel a little sleepy now because I just made a rant. I was not expecting for it to be as angry as it was, but it was this story time / rant about being bullied by my second grade teacher. Please go watch it. I assume it's going to be uploaded before this one. It was very cathartic. That was good. So, yeah. Welcome back to my arc where I try to remedy my over-attachment to the past by talking about it incessantly. I'm gonna kind of keep going with the storytime vibe, but I'm gonna do a little platter, a little sampler of different moments from a certain time period that live rent-free in my head. And we're gonna move to college. It is probably not gonna be all the college stories that I've intended on telling on this channel, but it's gonna be a few of the big ones. I'm probably gonna have my sorority experience be a separate other video because that was kind of its own moment in time, but one of them does have to do with the sorority. So I was in a sorority for a total of 5 months. Like 2 of those were summer vacation, but near the end of summer, that was like a full work week worth of sorority prep that I ended up dropping right before recruitment for the next year. So I was in for just about 5 months, and I basically didn't get to do any of the fun stuff. I didn't get to experience any of the fun stuff at the sorority, but I did a lot of the hard stuff. Well, actually, that's not fair. I did do, right before my initiation, there was a sleepover at the house. I slept over at the house. The only time I ever did, I never lived in the house, and spent time with the girls. And the girls were always really nice to me. I wish that I kept in contact with more of them. I didn't really initiate contact. They didn't either. We just kind of fell out of touch, and it was kind of a sad thing. But I'll talk about it more in that video. But that is important context. The 2 main story times that I think I'm going to tell are being scammed on a sugar daddy app and how I completely 100% walked into that, and getting robbed at knife point. These 2 things happened about 2 years apart, but they both happened when I was in college. One of them was entirely my fault, basically, and the other one was not at all my fault. So, nice little juxtaposition. So, I have poured myself a LaCroix on the rocks. It is the orange flavor. Let me know what your favorite flavor of LaCroix is, actually, if you like it, or if you don't like it at all. I've heard it seems to be very polarizing. A lot of people don't like it. I've heard people being like, it's like the whisper of a fruit. It doesn't taste like fruit. I was like, because it's water. It's supposed to be like the essence of fruit in water. It's not going to be friggin' sweet. It's not soda. Anyway, I feel like people need to manage their expectations with LaCroix. Maybe that's just like the Gabby Hanna in me. I kind of low-key scared myself with that sentence, but get a drink, get a snack, I don't know, roll a blunt, draw a bath, whatever. Cause yeah, we're gonna tell some stories. Let's start with the scammed on a sugar daddy app. Okay, so this was like early 2019. This was spring of 2019. And I was just getting into the groove of the sorority, and I really wanted to stay in the sorority. I was very emotionally attached to it. We will get into it probably at a different date. It represented something very emotional for me. The sense of belonging, stuff like that. It was a little toxic, kind of, but I really wanted to stay in it, and I was having trouble paying my dues. I bought myself a ticket to see Billie Eilish, and then I ended up selling it on StubHub, and I still have not seen Billie live, and I really want to see her live, and I'm just like, but I needed to sell it for the money, but what happens ends up making it really stupid and pointless that I did that. So at the time, I was really into watching Tana videos and story times and stuff, and she had just made this video talking about like a toxic sugar daddy experience or something. It was when she like matched with a millionaire on Seeking Arrangement, and he was like Michael Jackson's former, or like the manager of Michael Jackson's masters or estate or something like that, or he manages dead celebrities' estates. I was just put on to that vibe because I'm 19 years old and I'm a college student and I'm broke and I'm financially irresponsible. I want to get paid for being pretty by bored rich men. Of course I do. That is when I found out about Seeking Arrangement, and I downloaded it and made a profile. And I probably should have read an article or 2 about being smart on there and warning signs of scams, but also I should have just used more of my intuition. I try to be, understanding of like, I was 19 and I didn't really know what a trap looked like necessarily, but like looking back, it was so freaking obvious. And I also worked in a grocery store, and there were like warnings about gift card scams, signs of scams all the time. And I would look at it and I would read it and it didn't come up in the moment, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Match with this dude. He is attractive, whatever. If I remember correctly, I remember it wasn't very good English in his text, but I was kind of like, whatever. I'm pretty sure he was verified. I was only interacting with verified accounts, but you can still be verified and be a scammer. Fun fact. So I talked to him for like a day. It came to the point where I was like, can I get, some money or whatever? And he starts sending me money. He sent it in a weird way though. Big warning sign. This is going to sound so obvious. And you're going to be like, why would anyone need to be reminded of that? Of course, I'm not going to do that. But just trust me, because apparently I needed to be told this. If you are on any kind of app where like exchange of money is okay, if someone has a problem with sending you money on anything other than like PayPal, Venmo, something like that, block them. Hi, I majorly misspoke at this point, and I wanted to add in a video just in case y'all didn't see on the screen when I corrected this. I meant to say if anyone has a problem with sending you anything on apps like PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, if they insist on sending it to you any other way besides that, block them. They are 100% scamming you. Delete them, run far away. If anyone asks, don't you can judge me. If someone asks for your fucking bank account information, if someone asks for your login to your Chase mobile app, maybe don't give that out. Maybe don't just want to believe that they'll follow the honor code because you've talked to them for an entire 90 seconds. Maybe don't give out your fucking online banking information. I wish I could say I was joking. I really, really wish I could. And what's funny is that like someone else had done that, and then I was like, oh, let me not do that. That's kind of fishy. But then for some reason, when this other person asked for it, they were like, oh, trust me, I'm not going to scam you, probably. And then I was like, oh, that sounds legit. And I did it anyway. So the way that he ended up sending me money, he took photos. He like deposited checks via photo, like via, I forget what it's called, like quick deposit, the thing you can do on like the Chase app and probably other apps where you like take picture of the check and then you can deposit it that way. He did that. And then I looked at the checks and he had uploaded photos of checks at where I happened to be employed at the time. So I don't know if that was a coincidence or it probably wasn't. It was complex. Or maybe I'm just trying to make myself feel better by saying it was complex because it was so fucking obvious that this was a scam. But yeah, he like deposited checks that had my name on it from my place of work that were not real, apparently, that were fake. And I don't even register, like, I'm just like, oh, he figured it out. I don't know. I'm like so blinded by the fact that I now have like $1,500 in my account or something like that. And I'm like thanking him. And I remember he was like, you can stop thanking me. You can stop thanking me. And so like, I wonder if this person actually started feeling a little bit guilty about what they were doing, but probably not. Then after he sends it, he goes, I have a favor to ask you now that I sent this. My nephew, it's his birthday, and I want him, the dumbest fucking cover ploy story ever. My nephew's having a birthday. He's like 16, and I want him and his friends to have some fun playing video games, so I want to get them some Steam gift cards. Can you go to CVS and get some gift cards? So I'm like, sure, person that I've never actually spoken to and I've only texted and I've only seen a photo of, and just deposited money in a super weird ass way that doesn't make any logical sense, and that I gave my bank account info to, and that I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm somehow not registering that this is fucking insane. Sure, I'll go buy you some gift cards. I ride my bike to the CVS near my house and get like $300 worth of Steam gift cards, and the cashier literally points out multiple times, because he's like, dude, multiple people, like, this is exactly what happens when they get scammed. This is exactly what the scammer says. It's some party. It's always a party. It's always a present. It's always something. And they want, hundreds of dollars of gift cards. And then they like have you take the strips off and send them all the photos, and so they can use the gift card. And I'm just like, no, he wouldn't do that to me. As if I fucking know this guy. Like, what? Like, I'm pretty sure I was unmedicated at the time, and I was 19 and I was naive, but I'm like, damn, like, wow, like, God, I was like a fucking cult leader's wet dream. Like, I would just walk into anything. But, so, I don't know what it was. I think after this, I just got a sinking feeling about, I think it was starting to finally register, and I decided to finally, I didn't feel like I could tell my family, but I would have this thing where, like, I wouldn't tell people that were close to me a lot of the things that I probably should have, and I would instead tell people that I had just suddenly gotten close to. But I tell the dude that I'd been kind of hooking up with that was like 10 years older than me, and said that he was polyamorous, and then ended up not being. And I thought I was in love with him, and I told him I thought I was in love with him, and that was a whole thing. I was like, oh, he's been in the military, he'll know what to do. And texted him that, and he was just like, bitch, change your fucking bank account login information right fucking now. What the fuck? Then the next day, I just think, okay, I'm gonna change all my login info and it's gonna be fine. And then the next day, my dad asks me what's going on with my bank account, because my mom was also has her name on my account so she can see everything. And the checks that were deposited bounced because they were fraudulent. And so all that money was taken out of my account. And then he was all confused because he's like, why the fuck are you in a deficit? You just sold your Billie Eilish ticket. You should have money in the bank. Like, what is even happening? What's happening? And I just cracked, and I was like, told him what I'd done, and started to finally hear how freaking insane I sounded. And he was like, you're supposed to be smart. My dad literally said, you're supposed to be smart. And I was like, you know what? Yes, I was supposed to be smart. Like, what? So he's like, you are insane. Like, you don't even realize the gravity of this. Like, what could happen? And I'm pretty sure I ended up closing that account. I like came really dangerously close to like not being able to have a bank account again, because that kind of fraudulent activity was on my account. So I had to like plead my case to my bank, and I had to open an entirely other bank account, or an entirely new bank account, and get a new card and everything. And I ended up dropping out of the sorority later on anyway. So I'm pretty sure I was able to get refunds on the gift cards. I don't think people normally do that, but like it ended up kind of panning out where I only ended up losing like $100, but I ended up losing $100 on my own money, and I was super fucking pissed about it because I was trying to get money and I ended up losing it. In that situation, I ended up basically voluntarily giving away my own money, which, if you just watch the story time about my second grade teacher, is a very ironic turn of events. So my word of advice is don't fall for super obvious gift card scams, especially from people that you don't know on sugar daddy apps, even if they are verified, because that kind of means nothing. Another little trauma tidbit for you, if you will, that we're gonna wrap up with: getting robbed at knife point. So I was a little hesitant about telling this on my channel because this actually ended up involving a settlement. And I obviously cannot discuss the details of that settlement, but I think I'm entitled and allowed to talk about my experience of the actual incident, what happened from my perspective. I was a cashier. I had been offered a shift, an early morning shift. It was 6:45 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. and it was a Friday. I just gotten there, just opened my drawer. It was like 6:58, like not even 7. I just gotten there. And I was at a register right near one of the exits, and I just talked to a coworker. She had just walked away. I was completely alone, and it was already, early, so there aren't a lot of people there. And all of a sudden I hear, also this was spring of 2021. So this was still like during COVID, still had masks on, still had those cashier things. We still had those plastic divider protection shield thingies, All of a sudden on my left, I hear this mumbling, just this noise. So I register, oh, someone's coming up. So I look over. I can't really hear what they're saying, but then I see it, just everything happens really fast, but I kind of registered things a little slowly. I look at them, realize they're saying, give me the fucking money, open the fucking drawer, give me the fucking money. And then I see that they're holding a knife. And at first I remember seeing like a long blade, but then looking back, it may have been like a box cutter, but it was a blade. So then I just automatically go to open my drawer. Thankfully at this place, I had a code that I was able to open my own drawer. I didn't need to get a manager for that, thank God. So I'm going to do that. I'm putting in my password, and I was wearing a walkie-talkie. So this was actually like pretty risky of me to do this, but as I'm doing this, I press the little button on my walkie-talkie and I ask for my manager to come to my register. And the guy sees me and hears me do this, and he hits the plastic divider between us and he smacks it, and that obviously freaks me out. But he doesn't harm me or anything, but he just does that. And I hand him the money. But as this is happening, my other coworker that was a little ways away, like 10 feet or something, had heard him hit the plastic and saw what was happening, and she somehow gets on the intercom. I think she had a phone on her or something, and was able to get on the intercom and called for security. He starts running away, grabbing the money and running away, and then my manager comes up at around that time, and then I think he fell on his way out, and my manager like got photos of him. Yeah, and then he ran away. But at this register that I was at, it was like there was a belt in front of me, and then I had my computer to the right, and then the other two sides of me was counter. Like, yeah. There was a drawer behind me and counter, but I was completely boxed in. There was only one way out, and he had blocked it. So I was boxed in. I would have had to like yeet myself backward off the counter and just hope that I did it smoothly if I was trying to escape. Like, there was nowhere for me to go. And that helplessness has like stayed with me. Yeah, I just kind of dissociated a little bit, and then the police came. I remember he took everything out of the drawer, everything except there were the ones and the change, but he didn't touch the ones. I remember thinking that was weird that he didn't touch the ones. And it was funny that he hit so early, because like there was no other money in that drawer. Like, I hadn't gotten any money. Like, he had just gotten what was originally in it, but I guess that was enough for him. Yeah, then my dad brought up like, oh, you could have a workers' comp claim. Has anyone talked to you about workers' comp? And then they didn't. And then I initiated the conversation about it. I reached out to the HR lady, and then she called me back and said that she'd been trying to reach me. And I was like, that was interesting, because I called you. And then she tried to rewrite history and be like, no, later on, she would literally be like, no, I reached out to you. That's how this happened. I reached out to you first. And I was like, girl, I called you and then you called me back. What are you talking about? So that became a whole thing. Then I would have a meeting with her, and my dad would insist on being in the meeting, thankfully. And she initially was like, we normally wouldn't have other people in the meeting, but I'll allow it because I'm just so nice, whatever. And then he was like, it's really weird that y'all didn't talk to her about workers' comp or anything, because like she was threatened with her life. And she was like, well, this is why we don't have people in these meetings typically. So anyway, ended up having a lovely workers' comp case that ended up being settled. So I guess this guy had been a bit of a problem. I guess he had been banned like the month earlier because he had set the dumpster on fire. And I then later on testified about it, and I put that I would like to be told what ended up happening to him, but no one ended up informing me about what happened to him. But it seems like I tried to look it up, and it seems like his last known address was at a mental institution. But the last time I checked was like a few years ago, I think. So it may have changed since then, but like I hope he's getting the help he needs. But yeah, that moment, it was like less than a minute. It happened so quickly. It's just so crazy, like how things that happen so quickly can just affect you a lot. And I think I got like some light level PTSD from that. That was a fun, fresh experience. I guess I'm just gonna end that. Just a little, like a trauma tidbit. Trauma bites. So those are the stories about me getting scammed on a sugar daddy app and then getting robbed at knifepoint. It's funny to say it like that, because then it sounds like it happened on the same day. That didn't happen on the same day, but they both happened when I was in college. So I hope you enjoyed this very random video. I am probably going to continue making some, and then I'm gonna maybe finally edit all the videos that I've been filming and upload them if I'm feeling spicy. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope to see you next time.